Welcome back, everyone, to the topic of the week. The topic of the week this week is expressing masculinity. I am dedicating this talk to all boys and men out there, but I also want women to hear this because it's a very sensitive topic to talk about inequality and so on. And this is not what I'm going to be focusing on, but I just want you to keep an open mind because I was highly triggered when this topic first came up. So, dear men, you have so much pressure to provide, perform, to supply. You have to be this temple, this rock, and you're not allowed to crack. And if you do, apparently you're not man enough. The problem that we have at the moment is that we are teaching our boys that they are not allowed to be their authentic self. And I have a huge issue with this because our world has gone mad. There is anger everywhere. And you know what creates anger? Hurt, pain. If a little boy falls over and his dad or his mum says, "Don't cry, come on, get on with it. Come on, don't cry. Boys don't cry. Boys don't cry." Then that boy is going to think, well, I can't show my feelings, and it must be really wrong to feel this because my dad or my mom is telling me that I shouldn't be feeling this. So I'm just going to push that away. Okay, I'm going to be a brave boy. I'm a brave boy. Don't tell your child to not cry or punish them for crying. That is wrong. And we've all done it. We're all guilty of it because as men and women, we have all been ingrained with this stereotype. A sexy man, he's strong and he can beat someone up in a fight, and he can be this rock that we want him to be. But we don't want him to crack because then everything crumbles. But there's so much pressure. There is so much pressure to being a man because us women, we know how to talk about our emotions. We don't have a problem with speaking about how we feel. Normally, there are a few of us that can't trust, and we feel like we don't really want to open up emotionally, and that is true too. But generally, women tend to unburden emotionally a lot easier than men do. And if you ask any man, who would you call if you were in a really bad place? Who would you call to help support you? Which one of your mates? No one. Most of them say no one because they feel like they're not allowed to, because maybe their friends will take the mickey out of them. Maybe they will be seen as this weak, vulnerable sissy of a man who can't get his life sorted. And that is wrong. There is so much pain there that men carry around. And I know this sounds very strange coming from a woman, because I used to hate men because of the things that were done to me by those few men that hurt me. Those few men, I realize now, were also abused. They were also told, you don't do this, you don't do that, and you treat a woman a certain way, right? If your little boy wants to play with a doll, allow him to play with a doll, because you know what we're doing? We're creating a good father. We're creating a good role model. So if we're telling him, don't play with toys, don't play with dolls, that's for girls. So what are you teaching them? If he's then a father, do you think he's going to play with his daughter? No, of course not. We need to be the change and start doing things differently and get out of this mentality of men need to suck it all up. And it affects us women because we become these abused people who are easy targets because we are told, well, this is your place, and they have so much anger. And I'm not talking about all men, of course, and I think you I think you know that, but there are a few that hurt, that pain of being inauthentic and not being allowed to cry and show emotion, human emotion. Doesn't matter if you're man or woman, we are humans and we feel. That is part of the human nature, and now we're being told we're not allowed to. I'm a boy, and if I want to be a man, I can't show my feelings. So I want to be a man, so I just won't show my feelings, and I'll just push and repress them down and turn into anger. That's what happens, and not just anger. Loads of terrible things can happen, and it's very, very sad. I have a lot of male clients. I would actually say at the moment, more men than women. And it is, I'm getting emotional. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I'm not even a man. But it's a beautiful thing to see a man cry and really for once just go, I surrender. Someone is listening to me. I am heard. You've never been heard. If you have been brought up in a household where you were told, boys don't cry, stop being a P word, stop being a sissy, stop whatever, you're weak, then you must have so much pain that needs to come out. And so much can be shifted and changed when we go with him and we unlock this huge, gigantic vault that you have put on your emotions. You will feel so free. You will feel so liberated. And I'm targeting this to everyone because I'm a mother of a little boy, and my boy asked me that he wanted a Barbie. And instantly, my reaction in my mind, obviously I didn't say this, was, oh, why does he want a Barbie? That's a bit strange. But I said, of course you can have a Barbie. What do you want to do with it? I just want to play with it. It is very healthy. I bought him a Barbie, by the way. And that wasn't received very well by family members, male family members, because they were taught that that is wrong. You're going to create a gay man. So what if my son is gay? First of all, that's incorrect because you're born gay. No matter what you do, you cannot change that. There are actually therapies that are focused on that are horrendously unethical. And I just like to say that my business accepts anyone, everything, however you may identify yourself. I just like to reinstate that. So everyone is welcome. But it's important for us as women because we're going to influence our daughters, our children, our everyone if we treat men differently. And I'm not saying, don't have any boundaries and don't allow bad behavior. That is not what I mean at all. I mean how we raise our boys and our girls, and also that we have some compassion. It is very easy to judge a woman. It is very easy to judge a man. It's hard for a man, and it's very difficult for me to say this because I've had some sexual trauma, and that was caused by a man, right? So, but I want people to have compassion, or us women or other men to have compassion with each other, because not every man that is walking behind you is a rapist. Of course, you need to be safe. It's good to have pepper spray, but it's hard to have that stigma walking around thinking that every woman thinks I'm going to rape her because it's dark. That's horrible. And I'm not saying don't be safe, don't keep yourself safe. Of course, if there is a strange looking person behind you and it is a man, then of course do feel within your body, this feels a danger, I feel danger, do whatever needs to be done. But what I'm saying is I want you to have an insight in what does it feel like if near to every woman, if you're walking in the dark, thinks that you are going to rape her, that you are this, that you are that. We have expectations and we have these beliefs about how men are. And because a lot of us women were hurt, we don't find healthy relationships with men. And we keep finding and attracting, for a very good reason, a type of man that abuses us. We need to heal as women. We need to let go of the pain that was caused by unhealed men. And we need to show compassion with ourselves, with our little boys, and with the men around us. If someone is abusive, then of course it's very difficult to have compassion. But I'd like you to see it in a different light. And under no circumstance am I saying that there is an inequality. I do believe there is an equality towards women, but I also think that there is an injustice towards men too. And I know that there's a lot of pain there, and this might trigger some of you. It triggered me when my partner brought it up. I thought, there's an inequality towards men. How dare you? We've been blah, 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 blah. And I literally told him all the things that happened to me and this trauma, and it was all men. Yes, that is not what I meant, and that is not what he meant. What the message behind that is that they can't ever be their true self, and that causes pain. And because we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, nothing is changing. If you see your friend, you're a man, and your friend is suffering, show actual love. Don't call him, come on, you homo, you'll be all right. That is not what they need. Give them a hug. Men can hug. And you know what? They're the most beautiful, long-lasting friendships where people can actually lean on each other. We need to allow men to tap into their feminine side, because we are feminine and we are masculine. I was very much more in the masculine side at times, and I wouldn't allow my boyfriend to do anything for me or anyone, because I was hyper independent. I was like, I'm going to prove to him I can do this, and I can do this, and I am this, and I'm going to prove to all the men and the women and everyone out there that I can do anything and everything. And that's wonderful mentality to have, to inspire yourself to get stuff done. You know, sometimes I need to fix something in my house and I'm so overwhelmed. I'm like, I wish someone would just do this for me. And I'm like, no, I can do it. And I end up doing it. That's great. But sometimes it's just nice to just say, I need help. It's all right. We as women and men need to let go of the ego and the pride and just allow ourselves to express who we are. We need to be feminine and masculine. You can be a successful entrepreneurial woman, but also be feminine and allow someone to take care of you. It allows someone to treat you with love. And that's another thing, actually. Men are expected to be a gentleman, okay? I love gentlemen. It's wonderful. Someone opens the door for me. He pays for my meal. He does this. He buys me roses at Valentine's Day. He has to remember to bring me a present. And he has to do this. And he has to open up my car door. What else do I need to put on this list? It's just, and you have to do this, and you have to provide for me, and you have to be a good father, and you have to, and these are all things, of course, that there is an expectation. So there's a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of pressure, and we seem to not be able to love unconditionally. If they lose their money, especially with a pandemic, that has caused a lot of pain. Man up, right? That is the worst. Don't say that to men. It's horrible. I was having this conversation with someone today, a man, obviously, and he said it's soul crushing to hear someone say, man up. Are you saying I'm not a man? We need to be careful of how we speak. And I'm saying this as a woman who has been raped, abused, and traumatized by men. But that doesn't mean that every man out there is a rapist and an abuser. There are beautiful, wonderful, lovable men out there, and we need to allow them to be able to express emotion and sensitivity. That is the role that we have as women, and also that because I'm saying that we nurture them, because a lot of us as mothers stay at home with the kids. Not all of us do. I work, for example, and I'm not always home, and then his father looks after him. So there's a great balance. There's a lot of modern men out there that are now have got their kids, half the time. And I think that's wonderful. It's not just the woman, the mother, that needs to be in a child's life. It needs to be both. And I know so many people, including myself, that have father wounds of fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of everything. And it's vital that you as a man play a part in your child's life. And they're not better off without you, because that's a big excuse. That is a reason where you go through a divorce, you go through something painful, and then the kids tend to be put with a mother. That doesn't always mean that the mother is balanced enough to look after this child, right? Doesn't mean that the father is. I'm just saying that we need to change how this system. How can we do that? If you have a boy, take your time to allow him to feel. Because if you have a boy that is very angry, he's really hurt. He's not an angry boy. He's a bad boy. He's not. He's hurt because he can't share what he's feeling. We need to stop putting emotions down that people feel and have more compassion. So I think that is all I'd like to say for now, because I haven't created a video in a while because there are just so many topics that I want to talk about, and I wanted to find one that really moves and that acknowledges the pain of both sexes, because this isn't a war against each other. And I feel that at times we still are like, oh, I really want a man, but men, they don't. What do you want? Do you want a man or do you not want a man? Do you want a woman to nurture or not? Right? We need to ask ourselves, what is it that I want? And can I have compassion with the other sex? And also look at your own actions. There's a lot of things that I've noticed that we do that cause that there's like a hidden intention. Why am I overly kind and nice to everyone? This is something that I do. I am nice to everyone because I want to be liked by and loved by everyone. That is why. That, not always, right? Obviously, that I just want someone to be okay and I want them to be happy and smile. But sometimes there is a hidden intention. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'd like you to become aware of why we say and do certain things. Why is that? Why am I now saying this to my partner? It's because I feel a certain way. Or you should shift the way that you argue. So if I argue with my partner, I don't say, you made me feel like I'm not enough. No, you didn't make me do anything. When you said this, or when you didn't answer, or when you said whatever, it made me feel like I wasn't enough for you. Then he's going to respond completely differently, because he'll be like, oh yeah, I can understand that. That's true. I'm sorry I didn't do whatever it is that I didn't do, right? Taking the time to acknowledge people's feelings. If you attack, you're going to get an attack back, because that is how we have raised these boys. And actually something interesting that someone said to me as well today, that I had a conversation with a man, and this is a different mentality where you will see, is I gave this example about this video, talking about men and being able to express themselves and expressing masculinity. And I said, what about if this boy cries because he fell over and one of his friends laughs at him? He said, well, just punch him in the face. There is the perfect example of, no, it's not about that. It's about acknowledging this little boy's pain and saying, it's okay to cry. I know we do it in a nurturing way when a child falls and we say, don't cry. Don't cry. Do cry as much as you want. Or it's okay, you're all right, darling, you're so strong. Don't say don't cry. It is not okay. We cannot control other people's emotions. And that is all I wanted to say for now, because otherwise this video is going to get too long and you may get bored halfway through. Anyway, if you ever are in need to emotionally unburden, if you feel that this video resonated with you and you'd like to just let it out with no judgment, with someone that will listen to you, that will acknowledge the pain and let go of maybe anger, impatience, erectile dysfunction, lack of boundaries, self-worth, addictions, and so on, to women and men, I'm here for you. You can go to my website, leliahypnosis.com, and book your free call. I'm sending you so much love to both sexes, to all sexes, because there are so many, right? It's a very adventurous world at the moment. I love it. Everyone can be who they want to be, and that is what I want to inspire right now. Just have a look, if you have a son, how you interact. Does he want a doll for Christmas? Get him a doll. Who cares? Who cares? Seriously, get him a doll. And also, this is another thing. He's going to be a great father because he's going to be able to nurture his little baby at one point, because they want to have that feminine side. Let's allow men to tap into that sensitive side that they all have. We've just pushed it out of them, bullied it out of them. And when I say us, I don't mean women, I mean society, men and women. We are both equals and we are both deserving of love, and we need to stop this war between sexes. It's enough now. If you have been abused, I absolutely understand if there is anger coming up from you right now. That is how I felt. If felt like you don't understand what men have done to me. I get that, but it's not all men. Maybe those ones were assholes. Those ones were abusive. But the majority of men are good. Anyway, all my love. Big hug.